when we do something, and you're very involved with Nepal, and Cornerstone Cares has been able to support you. And in fact, you just got back from Nepal.
That is correct.
You were first trip there in a couple of years, right?
Yeah, with the pandemic, the country was closed, and it just opened up last December. So we were able to get in right away, and as we were there, they closed it back down again. So we just made it out.
And you work with the poorest of the poor, way up in the mountain, jungle regions. And in fact, we have some pictures that we'd like to go to just show you that you can talk us through a little bit. We've got our Cornerstone water line here, right?
Yeah, this is one of the water taps. There's actually 5 in the village of the same Cornerstone taps. I know you look at it and say, hey, why is it tied off? It's tied off because there's such a surplus of water that God's provided for the village. They help irrigate their fields with the water that comes out of the mountain.
And before this was put in, what kind of water were they drinking?
They were drinking river water that the women every morning had to get up and walk 2.5 kilometers down a mountainside, get the water, carry the water back up for their families.
And now they're able to actually, like you said, irrigate their fields.
Correct.
And it's actually increased the nutritional value of their diet, right?
That is very true. Because what happened before is they lived on simple things like corn, or they would grow a winter wheat. Yeah. As most people know, corn's not very nutritious as your main staple. Yeah. Because of the surplus water, now they're able to grow vegetables like onions, tomatoes, peppers. Their diet has changed. They're radically changed forever just because water came in their village.
Wow, that's great. So we've got some more. What are we seeing here?
Oh, this is a market that we just finished. This market actually is one of the first ones in the village area. This will serve 16 different villages, and they did this as a microloan. So if elder...
That's another thing. Just forgive me for interrupting, but you're doing a lot with micro businesses. You give micro loans and you set up businesses for them.
That is correct. Because we look at it, we want to invest into people to help them to become self-sufficient and to be not a burden, but people who can give. You know, isn't that not the real demonstration of love? Right. Love is giving.
Right. So let's see what else we've got here.
One of the other parts that we have that we've been doing is working with blind Christians in Nepal. We have a good friend, her name's Cecilia. She partners with us. She came from the Western Pennsylvania School for the Blind. So this particular man, he's playing a flute. So he's a blind man, so his family every day puts him at the corner of the road to play flute to see if anybody gives him an alms.
Oh, wow.
But what we've done here is they had a simple MP3 player with the New Testament on it and a solar panel. So he's able to have God's Word all the time.
Oh, wow.
We're also, during this particular trip, we had medical clinics for the Chipang people. That's the people group we work with. We saw over 500 people during that time. I know Tom loves this picture because it reminds him of the days where he started.
Reminds me of a mission trip for sure.
And this is full of winter coats and medical equipment going down a mountainside. This is one of the water systems. As you guys see, the guys are carrying up a pipe.
And not really wells, they're water lines from a spring,
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah.
They actually call it, the official name is for gravity-fed water systems.
Okay.
And here's a family that you directly helped through Cornerstone. The Cornerstone family helped. This family had lost their home in a landslide. We were able to just finish this house last end of December, January. This is them putting the roof on the house.
Right.
And that's the roof. And that was the family that was standing. It's a family of 8. And they were living under a tarp for...
You can sure see why there's landslides in this area.
Yeah, they're living on the cliffs.
Goodness.
So,
yeah.
And now they're able to live in a home now that's a beautiful, masonry home with a metal roof. They never had a house like that. They had lived on a dirt floor with they're just blessed. Here's the family here. So
that's great.
They're believers, and they're just so blessed to know what the Lord has done.
Bill, you've been able to do so many things, again, through those micro loans, micro businesses. In fact, I have some cutting-edge relief honey right here that Bill has given us that is from one of the bee farms that Cornerstone has helped to establish.
Yes, that's one of the things that we love to do. We do a partnership with the little Nepali churches. The church is about 50 to 75 people. We look at the pastor and say, Pastor, we want you to be self-sufficient. So we invest by giving them 12 beehives. It's a bee farm in Nepal. And they harvest honey twice a year. And we were there during honey harvest. And they were taking the hives, and the bees were donating their honey to the Lord. And they have a spinning machine that spins out the honey. They're able to process it. And that's the way this honey comes right out of the hives. So it's been screened just briefly, but it's just raw honey.
And you were telling me, again, this has been helpful to their diet. It's been helpful to their economics.
Correct.
There's really not much for them to do up there in terms of economics, but you've got goat farms going now, and you've got the bee farms. And, you know, Bill, what would you say to people that say, well, you know, it's amazing, but how do you even get involved in doing something like that?
Well, how this happened was about 2.5 years ago. We were in a village, and it was a Chipang village, and we were doing a medical clinic, and as I looked around, I saw everybody was covered with dirt. They had like layers and layers of dirt. And I saw this little girl walk up, and she had 2 potato chip bags on her feet.
I remember
and
the picture, yeah.
I saw that, and I asked the pastor, why does she have bags on her feet? He said, that's the first time this little girl's ever owned shoes, and she's so excited. And it's like, okay, Lord, this isn't fair. You know, you called us to love, and now you're telling me, what are you going to do about it? You know, I heard the Lord say, what are you going to do about it? It's like, okay, now the Lord challenged me. What are we going to do about it? So we looked at how do we bring transformation to these villages? How do we partner with local churches to reach their community through projects?
And I hasten to add, you preach the gospel when you go
That is correct.
There is the gospel, and it's also the mercy of God through that. Bill, thank you so much for being with us,
Tom.
and thank you for all you do. So glad that Cornerstone can partner with you.